Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Surbhi Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 23rd of January. India remembers iconic freedom fighter on his 122nd birth anniversary. Interim bail of Pakistan's former president Zardari extended in money laundering case. And Afghanistan CEO Abdullah criticizes Taliban in Davos. And now for all the details. India remembered its iconic freedom fighter Subhash Chandra Bose on his 122nd birth anniversary on Wednesday. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a museum at the Red Fort in New Delhi showcasing artifacts belonging to Bose and his Indian National Army. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a museum at Red Fort in New Delhi to mark the 122nd birth anniversary of India's iconic freedom fighter Subhash Chandra Bose on Wednesday. The museum showcases various artifacts related to Subhash Chandra Bose and his Indian National Army or INA. The artifacts include a wooden chair and sword used by the leader and medals, badges, uniforms and other artifacts related to the INA. The museum also showcases the heroism, valor and sacrifices made by Indian soldiers during the World War I. There are also different sections on India's first war of independence, which took place in 1857 and on the 1919 Jallianwala Bagh massacre.
ये आजाद हिंद फौज का जितना भी सिपाही था उनका सम्मान में और नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस उनके कमांडर के सम्मान में आज लाल किले में प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी एक म्यूजियम का उद्घाटन किया, नेताजी और आजाद हिंद म्यूजियम। ये 72 साल के बाद आज ये भारत की जो मांग था, देश की जो मांग था, वो वर्तमान प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी संपूर्ण किया है।
The Indian National Army of Subhash Chandra Bose was formed with an aim to fight the British occupation of India and collaborated with the Japanese and Germans against the British in the Second World War. Bose was believed to have died in an air crash in Taiwan on August 18, 1945, 3 days after Japan's surrender to the Allied forces. News Justin. 3 terrorists were neutralized in an encounter in Baramulla district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday. This came a day after security forces gunned down 3 terrorists in another encounter in Shopian district of the province. And in news from Pakistan, the interim bail of Pakistan's former president Asif Ali Zardari and his sister Faryal Talpur and other suspects in a money laundering case was extended till February 14th by a banking court on Wednesday. The Federal Investigation Agency is investigating a total of 32 people in relation to money laundering of over Rs 35 billion from fictitious accounts.
A banking court on Wednesday extended the interim pre-arrest bail of Pakistan's former president Asif Ali Zardari, his sister Faryal Talpur and 9 other suspects till February 14th in an ongoing money laundering case. The Federal Investigation Agency, or FIA, is investigating a total of 32 people, including Zardari and Talpur, in relation to money laundering of over Rs 35 billion from fictitious accounts. The former president and his sister, along with other suspects, appeared before the court as the interim bail granted to them ended on Wednesday, local media reports said. During the hearing, the court questioned the absence of FIA's investigation officer. The court said, how can the case be taken forward when neither the investigation officer nor FIA records are present? The court then extended the interim bail of Zardari, Talpur and the other suspects till February 14th and adjourned the hearing till that date.
Moving on, protests erupted recently in Gilgit-Baltistan in the wake of a verdict by Pakistan's top court which upheld the GB Order 2018, which transfers all the powers of the region to Pakistan's Prime Minister. Activists have blamed the draconian law which has been imposed tactfully by Islamabad to further suppress the beleaguered people of the illegally occupied region. A strong wave of protests erupted recently in the wake of a verdict by Pakistan's Supreme Court, which has upheld the GB Order 2018, a package introduced last year to take away the powers granted to the Gilgit-Baltistan Assembly and transferring them to Pakistan's Prime Minister. The verdict came as a response to a series of petitions challenging the draconian law, in which petitioners had accused Islamabad of introducing such orders to suppress the people of the illegally occupied region. Activists and experts across the spectrum have repeatedly accused Pakistan of bringing in the law to get rid of the little bottlenecks hindering its materialistic ambitions.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ पाकिस्तान के उस फैसले के खिलाफ हम एहतिजाज नहीं करेंगे बल्कि इंशाअल्लाह गिलगित बल्तिस्तान के 25 लाख अवाम अपनी हक़ खुद इरादियत के लिए अपनी आज़ादी के लिए लाए अमल इंशाअल्लाह हम तय करेंगे। सियासी लोग ये समझ जाए कि गिलगित बल्तिस्तान न पहले पाकिस्तान का था, न अब है, न आइंदा बन सकता है।
Locals in Gilgit-Baltistan have long accused Pakistan for denying them basic rights and imposing draconian laws and policies without any constitutional representation. They say that the Nexus is using brute force to eradicate the indigenous people of Gilgit-Baltistan and take control of the resources of the region. Gilgit-Baltistan, a part of the erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir province of India, was annexed by Pakistan more than 6 decades ago. In news from Afghanistan, Afghanistan's Chief Executive Officer Abdullah on Tuesday criticized Taliban, saying the terror group's hardline approach towards the Afghan government has been one of the key obstacles and that the government does not have any preconditions for the talks. He made the remarks while addressing world leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
Afghanistan's Chief Executive Officer or CEO Abdullah on Tuesday addressed leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where he outlined his government's vision for peace and reconciliation with the Taliban. The CEO, however, clarified that a wider segment of the society, the Afghan people in general, are not in support of the Taliban's perception of governance or to see them back in power. He said that Taliban's hardline approach towards the Afghan government has been one of the key obstacles and that the Afghan government does not have any preconditions for talks.
مانع اصلی این است که طالبان چندین بار نشست رو در رو با حکومت افغانستان را رد کردند. ما میگوییم با شمول خروج نیروهای امریکایی و ناتو و شیوه حکومتداری بیایید با هم گفتگو کنیم، اما آنان میگویند که درباره خروج با آمریکاییان گفتگو میکنند.
Abdullah's remarks came a day after the Taliban confirmed that its delegation had held talks with the US representatives in Qatar after the US accepted the agenda tabled by the group for discussion. There has been a marked increase in diplomatic efforts with the Taliban to stop the conflict in recent months, but the fighting has not stopped.
More news from Afghanistan. Candidates who lost the parliamentary elections held in October protested in Afghan capital on Tuesday, demanding Kabul votes to be declared invalid. The candidates and their supporters alleged that the votes were rigged and that the Election Commission should be prosecuted.
Failed parliamentary candidates and their supporters in Afghanistan on Tuesday took to the streets of capital Kabul in protest over the October election results and called for results to be invalidated. The long-awaited preliminary results of Kabul's October 20 and 21 parliamentary elections were released on January 15th, a move that sparked an outcry among losing candidates and their supporters. Election watchdogs have also, however, slammed the Election Commission and accused it of electoral fraud.
کسایی که ما میگیم در رأس رئیس کابل اول رحمان رودوال است که خیانت بزرگی را به ملت قهرمان کابل متوجه ساخته، بعداً رهبری کمیسیون رئیس دارالانشای کمیسیون آقای زمانزای، آقای سیاد.
The candidates and their supporters also called on the government to prosecute all the staff members of the poll body involved in electoral fraud. They warned that they would continue to protest until their demands were met. IEC chief Abdul Sayyed, however, called on the protesters that they should ask for their rights through legal channels rather than block key routes around the city.
Moving on to news from Nepal, the lower house of Nepal Parliament on Tuesday witnessed ruckus and chaos after opposition parliamentarians protested over the presentation of National Medical Education Bill. The opposition lawmakers protested in the well of the house and blocked Education Minister from tabling the bill.
The lower house of Nepal Parliament on Tuesday witnessed ruckus and chaos after opposition parliamentarians protested over the presentation of the National Medical Education Bill in the House. The main opposition, Nepali Congress Party, protested against the government's decision to scrap 2 hospitals in the name of former Prime Minister Girija Prasad Koirala and Sushil Koirala, who were also the leaders of the opposition party. Meanwhile, the government claimed that the 2 hospitals are struggling hard to operate and that is why it had intended to shut them down.
यो जुन क्याबिनेट निर्णय जुन गरेको छ स्वास्थ्य मन्त्रालयबाट यो चाहिँ जुन 11 वटा राष्ट्रिय स्तरका यो हस्पिटलहरुलाई यो संघीय सरकार मार्फत ल्याउनको लागि.
Later, the House Speaker Krishna Bahadur Mahara invited Education Minister Giriraj Mani Pokharel to table the bill, but the opposition lawmakers rushed to the well of the House and blocked his way, resulting in further chaos in the House. The Speaker adjourned the proceedings of the House till Friday.
Transgender community, along with Aghoris, a group of Hindu holy men who are engaged in post-mortem rituals on Tuesday, offered prayers to goddess Kali at Kumbh Fair, the world's largest religious gathering underway in India's Prayagraj city. The holy Hindu ritual of fire being performed at midnight was observed for the betterment of the society and the world. Members of the transgender community, along with Aghoris, a group of Hindu holy men who are engaged in post-mortem rituals, offered prayers to goddess Kali and performed a tantric yajna at world's largest religious gathering, Kumbh Fair, in India's northern Prayagraj city on Tuesday. Devotees gathered at the Kinnar Akhada, the spiritual league for the transgender community, to witness the holy Hindu ritual of fire being performed at midnight for the betterment of the society and the world. The Kinnar Akhada has been a huge draw at the Kumbh Fair this year, which is a mass Hindu pilgrimage in which Hindus gather to bathe in the holy waters.
ये अघोर काली की पूजा थी, शमशान काली की पूजा थी. ये समाज के हित के लिए, मेरे देश के हित के लिए, मेरे सनातन हित के लिए और मेरे कुंभ में कोई ऐसा कोई दुर्घटना न हो, उनके लिए हमने ये करा है.
पहली बार ये किन्नर अखाड़े में आए, यहाँ पे काली माँ की पूजा हो रही थी, तो कुछ देखने को मिला, नया अच्छा लगा, अच्छी अनुभूति हुई. उसके बाद माँ का आशीर्वाद लिया.
Devout Hindus believe bathing in the waters of the Ganges at the time of Kumbh Fair brings salvation from the cycle of life and death. The festival, which comes once in every 3 years, is more than 2,000 years old. It is a meeting point for Hindu holy men, some of whom live in forest or Himalayan caves. Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. India remembers iconic freedom fighter on his 122nd birth anniversary. Interim bail of Pakistan's former president Zardari extended in money laundering case. And Afghanistan CEO Abdullah criticizes Taliban in Davos. And our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.